God was bringing up in my spirit David. And he was reminding me of how he works when it comes to our purpose. David was anointed king at a young age, but it took him years before he officially stepped into the role as king. However, God will put you in the place you're supposed to be. He'll give you a glimpse of it. So David had the opportunity to be in the king's palace. God put him in the place of where he was going to be. He gave him a glimpse of it. I call it the shadow of what's to come. He served in the palace where he was going to be king in the future by playing the instrument for King Saul. Let's look at Joseph. Joseph was going to be second in command. That's the dream that he saw, where everybody was bowing down to him, and it made his brothers jealous, and they threw him in the pit. However, God gave Joseph a glimpse of where he was going to be. He allowed him to be there for a season. I call it the shadow of what's to come. God put Joseph around Potiphar in his household, who was one of Pharaoh's highest officials, right? So Joseph got a taste of what was to come. He got to be around the king's cupbearer and the king's baker, right? God will put you in that place and give you a taste of what's to come. So though the vision, it seems like it's tarrying, God's promise is tarrying, it's not. Look at the places that God has put you in. Even over my life, I had got anointed for some things. And I remember I felt like it was never going to come to pass. And it was taking forever. But when God started to reveal this to me, he allowed me to realize that he had placed me in the place where I would think, how am I even here around all of these people? But he allowed me to taste the shadow of what's to come. So fret not. God is not slow in his promises. He will not delay. He just has appointed time. Think of the places that God has put you in for a little bit. The people that God has allowed you to be amongst, where you're going, oh my gosh. It is the shadow of what's to come. You see, God doesn't just throw us into things. He allows us to taste. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Even with Jesus, okay? Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the first and the last. There is none before him and there is none after him. However, when he walked this earth and before he took his rightful place on the right hand side of the Father, he even experienced the shadow of what's to come. Remember, before Jesus' death, he ordered his disciples to go get him a colt that hadn't been ridden on. And he got on that colt. And as he was walking down, they were treating him like a king. Hosanna in the highest, they were throwing palm leaves. And people were worshiping and treating him like a king. That's why they were going, here comes the King of the Jews. But the people that really followed his teachings were treating him like a king as he was walking down. He was being prepared. It was the shadow of what's to come. Because that is his rightful place, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He had to step into that, have a taste of that before he actually walked into it, even though he is God. Know that God has greatness for you. And if he said he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And if you want to know what it is, think of some of the things that God has placed you in. Even if it was for a little bit, the people that he had you around and you're going, oh my gosh, it's the shadow of what's to come. I hope this blessed you.